Transformers, a franchise with infinite popularity, owes much of its success to the uber-cool characters that populate its universe. While Autobots like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Grimlock have their own fanbase, the Decepticons offer a unique blend of coolness, powerful weaponry, and vicious aesthetics. Decepticons are synonymous with the embodiment of all things wrong in the Transformers saga. Their warlike tendencies grant them access to some of the most impressive weapons and vehicles. Among the Decepticons, there are several super intimidating characters, each with varying degrees of strength and notoriety. In this video, we will explore the 18 most terrifying and powerful Transformer villains that are truly a force to reckon with. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Unicron. Unicron is definitely among the most menacing villains ever conceived, and I am not just talking about the Transformerverse. I am talking about all mainstream villains, including planet eaters like Galactus. His colossal cosmic presence takes the form of an entire planet, making his power unmatched. While Galactus devours planets to sustain his own life force, Unicron's singular objective is the annihilation of the very essence of existence, leaving him as the sole surviving entity. He possesses the ability to travel between universes and realities effortlessly, perpetuating his relentless campaign of multiversal destruction. In the Transformers cinematic world, Unicron made a grand entrance in Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, which led an army of Terrorcons to obliterate the Maximals world, sparing only a few survivors. With a track record of decimating countless planets, the Autobots stepped in gallantly to thwart his plans. Otherwise, Earth's destruction was imminent because of Unicron's malevolence that truly knows no bounds. Intriguingly, Unicron's origin stories vary across different Transformers iterations. He was initially portrayed as the first being in the universe, juxtaposed with his brother Primus. While Unicron symbolized chaos and death, Primus was the very embodiment of order and life. An alternative version, found in an animated series, links him to the creation of Primacron. Though his origins may differ, Unicron's insatiable appetite for destruction remains a consistent theme throughout the Transformers mythos. In the IDW comics, Unicron's presence is yet to be acknowledged in the Cybertronian creation narrative, leaving open the possibility that this malevolent force may still be lurking, ready to strike. Megatron. Megatron is very well known for being this really evil and deadly Decepticon, but you know what? He's much more than that. He's actually something of a revolutionary thinker in Cybertron society, challenging the rigid connection between one's form and one's status. His treatise called Towards Peace birthed the Decepticon movement, driven by the motto, "You are being deceived." What began as an ideology escalated into a galaxy-spanning conflict as Megatron's message turned lethal. Naturally, the Decepticon found himself standing against another warrior who was as headstrong as Megatron. Yes, that would be Optimus Prime and his Autobot, champions of freedom for all sentient beings. Once comrades and admirers of each other, Megatron and Optimus Prime became bitter rivals, igniting a war that wrought death and genocide on an unprecedented scale. Megatron's actions, both directly and indirectly, caused the demise of countless beings, Cybertronian and otherwise. After his eventual surrender, Megatron faced trial for his crime, but exploited a loophole to hunt down the Knights of Cybertron for judgment. Transformed into Galvatron by Unicron, Megatron returned to lead the Decepticons, becoming an even more formidable adversary. His ruthless leadership and unwavering hatred for Optimus Prime defined his life and purpose, making him a relentless foe. Megatron's animosity extended to humanity as well, and he often subjected them to torment for his amusement. In the Michael Bay Transformers movie, Megatron was the big bad guy who did diabolic things like orchestrating the destruction of Cybertron and pursuing the Autobots. Despite repeated setbacks, Megatron's resilience and unwavering ambition ensured his return, each time more potent than before.
At long last, Megatronus stands triumphant!
Megatronus Prime, aka the Fallen. Megatronus Prime, one of the original 13 Prime, has a super awesome legacy in the Transformers lore. His insatiable thirst for power drove him to rebel against his fellow Prime, ultimately giving rise to the deadliest faction of Transformers, the Decepticons. Megatronus' dark influence has resonated through the ages, so much so that his name became the inspiration for the infamous Decepticon leader, Megatron. Known as the Fallen in Transformers legend, Megatronus has always wanted to orchestrate the downfall of the Autobots and humanity itself. Megatronus once stood alongside the 13 Prime, an elite group created by Primus to confront and defeat the cosmic menace of Unicron, a task they accomplished. However, Megatronus' thirst for power eventually drove him to betray his fellow Prime, culminating in the murder of Solus Prime. This grievous act resulted in his expulsion from the universe, cast into an alternate dimension. Despite his exile, Megatronus retained the ability to communicate with entities in the Prime dimension. Burning with anger and a deep sense of humiliation, Megatronus directed his resentment toward Earth and Cybertron, blaming them for his downfall. He vowed to find a means of returning to the universe and exacting vengeance upon both planets. Megatronus' transformation into the first Decepticon made him a being who deeply enjoyed cruelty, sadism, and all things evil. His animosity toward Earth and Cybertron fueled an unrelenting desire for revenge, much like the anger that would later define Megatron's own ambitions. Megatronus possesses formidable powers, befitting his status as one of the 13 original Prime. His Cybertronian and Prime physiology endow him with immense strength. He wields telekinetic ability and can crush steel with little to no psychic effort. He can even engage in psychic combats with Optimus Prime. Additionally, Megatronus can transform into an armored tank as part of his Cybertronian ability.
You are my creator.
I am Quintessa, the Prime of Life.
Quintessa, the uber-powerful villain, was introduced in Transformers: Age of Extinction, and to this day, there have been few who match her in terms of villainy, power, and intimidation. She dubs herself the Prime of Life and claims to be the creator of the Cybertronian. Naturally, she has powers that dwarf those of most other characters in the Transformers universe. Quintessa effortlessly overpowers and brainwashes Optimus Prime, which shows that she has the ability to subdue even the mightiest Autobots and Decepticons with ease. Her moniker, the Great Deceiver, further pronounces her capacity to manipulate and control others. I mean, she often reels you into her grand scheme of things and her intricate conspiracies, and you wouldn't even know about it. Quintessa also proves herself in combat, although her apparent defeat by Bumblebee leaves room for speculation. Is she truly gone after he used that blast on her? The Transformer movies are not known to repeat their secondary villain, and yet the possibility of Quintessa's return looms large. In ancient time, Quintessa commanded a guard force known as the Knights of Iacon, who eventually betrayed her and fled with the Staff of Power. Later, they came to Earth, where they hid the staff. For several millennia, Quintessa did not reveal her presence, but that changed in the aftermath of the Battle of Chicago in Transformers: Dark of the Moon. While Cybertron faced devastation and collapse, she strived to repair Cybertron. To achieve this, she created the Infernicons, who aided in the reconstruction. Depending on the veracity of Quintessa's claim as the Cybertronian's creator, she may have enlisted Lockdown to retrieve her Knights and Optimus Prime, ultimately hypnotizing them into aiding her in rebuilding Cybertron and annihilating Earth. Quintessa reprogrammed Optimus into the obedient Nemesis Prime, revealing her belief that Earth was, in fact, Unicron. Subsequently, she encountered Galvatron and transformed him into Megatron with a formidable new form, Overlord. Overlord and Megatron cross paths as gladiators, with Megatron becoming the sole opponent Overlord could never definitively defeat. Overlord harbored a burning desire to crush Megatron. As the saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Overlord aligned with the Decepticon, swiftly becoming a vicious and powerful bot even before receiving an upgrade. Megatron's decision to elevate Overlord to a Phase 6er status granted him the capability to transform into 5 distinct alt modes alongside his robot form, and this significantly amplified his power. But Megatron was no fool and knew the threats that Overlord posed. To safeguard against any potential strategies devised by Overlord to overcome him, Megatron engineered a tactical blind spot within Overlord's cognitive function. Overlord's disposition leans heavily toward aggression and bloodlust, which makes him a particularly ruthless Decepticon. His designation as a living superweapon sets him apart from the Decepticon arsenal. Overlord's unwavering commitment to annihilating his adversary takes precedence over any pursuit of power. Megatron further augmented Overlord, rendering him virtually impervious to harm. The Autobots are acutely aware of this menace, and Overlord stands as an object of their deepest fear. Galvatron. In the opening battle of Transformers, the movie, both Autobots and Decepticons suffer heavy losses, losing their leaders, Optimus Prime and Megatron. While Optimus finds respite, Megatron falls into the clutches of Unicron, who grants him a second chance, transforming him into the even more formidable Galvatron. Galvatron retains Megatron's memories but possesses greater power and viciousness. After this uber-cool transformation, he returns to lead the Decepticon. In the IDW comics, Galvatron predates even Megatron, a gladiator from Cybertron's earliest days who joined forces with the Fallen or Megatronus Prime to rebel against the Prime. In both versions, Galvatron ranks among the Autobots' most dangerous adversary. Galvatron's transformation represents the age-old theme of the mighty falling. After serving Unicron and succumbing to madness, he resumes his role as Decepticon leader, displaying unrelenting ruthlessness, even willing to eliminate his own followers, obstructing his pursuit of ultimate power. In Transformers: Age of Extinction, Galvatron went through a bit of a change. Here, Galvatron arrived not as a reinforced version of Megatron at the hands of Unicron, but from Earth's misguided attempt to construct a protector to replace the Autobot. The attempt goes awry, as Galvatron turns into a major threat rather than Earth's savior. Modeled after Optimus Prime with Megatron's consciousness, this version of Galvatron becomes a dire challenge for the Autobots. Predaking. Combiners in the Transformers universe often face significant challenges due to the merging of multiple minds. This process can lead to a loss of intelligence or breed arrogance among the fused individual. However, Predaking stands as an exception to this norm. Predaking represents the fusion of the 5 Predacons into a single, formidable Decepticon entity. What sets Predaking apart is the shared passion among the Predacons for hunting Autobot, which gives rise to a singular, focused persona, capable of harnessing their collective strengths without the typical drawback. Unlike many other combined Transformers, Predaking does not suffer from a loss of intelligence or independent thought. Instead, Predaking exudes an animalistic savagery, driven by an unwavering desire to destroy. This seamless fusion of the Predacons' minds allows Predaking to function with remarkable efficiency on the battlefield, striking terror into the Autobots and prompting them to seek cover as soon as he enters the fray. Devastator. Some of you may know that the Constructicons are individually formidable Decepticons, each of whom assumes the guise of construction equipment in their alternate form. Their unwavering loyalty to the Decepticon cause makes them dangerous allies. When they unite, they give rise to the colossal menace known as the Devastator. Devastator is nothing less than a towering juggernaut that is capable of effortlessly obliterating anything in its path. The Autobots wisely regard this violent behemoth with fear, and it demands their utmost collective efforts to bring it down. Devastator is truly formidable and has been the driving force behind several iterations of the Transformers story arcs. In Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, Devastator took on a slightly different form, comprising 8 Transformers, including the likes of Mixmaster, Scavenger, Scrapper, Hightower, Scrap Metal, Overlord, Long Haul, and Skipjack. This incarnation of Devastator was extraordinarily powerful. Notably, he consumed the Autobot Mudflap, although Mudflap managed to survive and burst free from Devastator's grasp. What sets this version apart from his usual portrayal is the fact that the Transformers found themselves incapable of defeating Devastator, ultimately relying on an experimental US military weapon to vanquish the colossal threat. So yeah, that's what it took to finally bring this behemoth down.
I've come for that staff.
Nemesis Prime. Nemesis Prime's character has been remarkably consistent across various Transformers stories, in all of which he serves as the malevolent counterpart to Optimus Prime. In essence, Nemesis Prime embodies the raw power that Optimus possesses but lacks the unwavering moral compass and impeccable conscience that defines the Autobot leader. In the IDW comic, Nemesis Prime was shown as Nova Prime, who was responsible for uniting Cybertron's disparate tribes and establishing a thriving civilization. However, his aspirations take a dark turn as he seeks to impose his brand of order on other worlds through conquest. Fortunately, before his imperial ambitions can fully manifest, he becomes trapped in the dead universe. Optimus Prime stands as one of the most potent Transformers in existence, guided by an unshakable moral foundation that tempers his strength and directs it toward noble causes. In stark contrast, Nemesis Prime represents the treacherous alter ego of the Autobot leader, possessing identical abilities but unburdened by conscience. Nemesis Prime operates without allegiance, though he has aligned with the Decepticons on occasion. His sole focus centers on chaos and destruction, and he takes pride in extinguishing Transformers, be they Autobot or Decepticon, with ruthless efficiency. Trypticon. Trypticon is another lethal member of the Decepticons and is one of their most potent assets. Much like Metroplex serves the Autobots, Trypticon is a huge robot and is known to be one of the largest Cybertronians ever known. In his T-Rex form, he dwarfs even the mightiest of the Combiners. In fact, his T-Rex unnerves even his fellow Decepticon. Trypticon offers versatility with multiple modes at his disposal. In his battle station configuration, he operates at hypersonic speeds and bristles with a formidable arsenal capable of repelling external threats. Moreover, his stationary mode transforms him into an entire city, a daring choice for Decepticons seeking long-term habitation in a colossal, formidable package. While the Autobots and Decepticons typically share a mutual animosity, Trypticon's nature is exceptional. He harbors an intense disdain, not only for Autobots, but for his Decepticon comrades as well. In other words, we can say this facet of his personality separates him from the rest of his kind. This Godzilla-like automaton has an unrelenting hatred for all living entity, a relentless force of destruction that does not discriminate in its path of devastation. More often than not, Trypticon's colossal presence leaves a wake of chaos and destruction that few can rival.
The Matrix! No, it can't be.
Thunderwing, a scientist initially concerned about the devastating Autobot Decepticon conflict ravaging Cybertron, took drastic measures to survive the planet's deteriorating condition. Unheeded by his peers, Thunderwing underwent a radical transformation, grafting living tissue onto his body. This procedure, while preserving his existence, profoundly affected his psyche, elevating his power to unprecedented heights. Thunderwing became virtually impervious to conventional weaponry, requiring combined Autobot and Decepticon forces to contend with him. Ultimately, the planet itself devoured him, rendering Thunderwing inert and sealing the fate of Cybertron. His journey began in UK-exclusive Tale, where he rose to prominence. Thunderwing's leadership potential was put to the test when he was dispatched to Earth to eliminate 3 rogue Autobots. While successful in dispatching 2 targets, his pursuit of the third, Hosehead, was thwarted by Autobots Nightbeat and Siren. Thunderwing suffered significant damage at the hands of Nightbeat. After recovering, Thunderwing confronted a squad of Decepticons sent to assess his condition, but coerced them into attacking the Autobot Ark. Despite their efforts, they were repelled by the superior Autobot numbers. Nevertheless, his performance caught the attention of the Decepticon High Command, which led to his appointment as the leader of Cybertron-based Decepticon. In his Marvel US debut, Thunderwing recognized the Autobots' morale boost from the presence of Grimlock, Jazz, and Bumblebee. He tasked the Decepticon Mayhem Squad, under Bludgeon's command, to eliminate them, but the mission failed, resulting in their transportation to various locations, including Cybertron and Earth. Soon after, Thunderwing learned that Autobot teams were scouring the galaxy in search of something of immense importance. He assembled a team and engaged his old adversaries Nightbeat, Siren, and Hosehead, eventually discovering that they were after the lost creation Matrix, tracking down other Autobot teams and intercepting his former foes Grimlock, Jazz, and Bumblebee. Thunderwing found himself entangled in a complex interstellar quest. Death Sarus, an early soldier under Megatron's command, originally played a crucial role in terraforming planets to make them habitable for cybernetic life. However, after centuries of unwavering loyalty, he grew disillusioned with Megatron's lack of concern for his fellow soldiers. Thanks to this dissatisfaction, Death Sarus broke away from Megatron, forming his own faction that continued to wreak havoc in the name of the Decepticon. Death Sarus was undeterred, even in the face of Decepticon Justice Division, which was a threat to both Decepticons and Autobots. His reputation was so elevated that, should Megatron ever falter, Death Sarus would be a top contender to assume leadership of the remaining Decepticon forces. In his quest for dominance, Death Sarus crafted a superweapon known as the planet-destroying fortress 500,000 years ago, with aspirations of becoming the Decepticons' Emperor of Destruction. However, the Autobot Star Saber thwarted his plan when he sealed the fortress within the Dark Nebula. Death Sarus directed his attention toward Earth, but faced resistance from the Galactic Peace Alliance, led by his long-standing rival Star Saber, now Supreme Commander of the Autobots. By razing the lost continent of Atlantis and draining its raw power, Death Sarus finally reactivated the planet-destroying fortress, intending to use it to obliterate Earth as retribution for its historical association with Decepticon defeat. In a climactic showdown atop the fortress, Star Saber confronted Death Sarus. Star Saber emerged victorious by breaking the Decepticon's sword and leaving him grievously injured. In a final act of spite, Death Sarus set the planet-destroying fortress on a collision course with Earth before sacrificing himself, vowing to return. Though Death Sarus' body drifted lifelessly through space, the fortress was destroyed by Victory Saber, preventing the catastrophic collision with Earth. Magin Zara. Magin Zara was brought into existence through various ways across the Transformers universe. In one instance, Scorponok, under the control of Devil Z, constructed 2 Transtectors on the planet Beast. One of these Transtectors was designed for Black Zarak's new form, while the other became Magin Zara. His purpose was to aid in the destruction of the Legends World and absorb its energy. Despite fierce resistance, Magin Zara overwhelmed the world's defenses until weakened by a team of sneaky Beastformers, who managed to force him through a portal into another dimension. Contrary to this origin story, in the Beast Wars 2 cartoon, a space-time warping device crashed on planet Gaia. The Trypticon, led by Galvatron, were the first to reach it and unwittingly summoned Magin Zara from Cybertron's past to bolster their rank. This colossal adversary proved nearly invincible, defeating the Maximals with ease due to its immense size and invulnerability. However, the Maximals discovered Magin Zara's vulnerability, a third eye on his forehead, which housed a cluster of nerve endings. Leo Convoy and Optimus Prime will harness the power of their Energon Matrix, becoming Flash, Leo Convoy, and burning Optimus Primal to deliver a fatal double Matrix blast to Magin Zara's weak point, ending his reign of terror. In yet another alternate origin, described by Vector Prime, Scorponok sought new sources of energy across time and space. He inadvertently tapped into the powerful Horus, driving both himself and his headmaster partner Zarak insane. Fused with their aircraft carrier base, they became the monstrous Magin Zara. Their creature rampaged through Central Europe and clashed with a combined Autobot and Decepticon force. The Micromasters devised a plan to lure Magin Zara into an oil tanker and send him hurtling into space. Tarn, the leader of the Decepticon Justice Division, commands one of the most fearsome subdivisions within the Decepticon army. Their primary mission is to hunt down traitors and dissenters, setting chilling examples through their ruthless methods to maintain order among the Decepticon. Despite their small numbers, the DJD members can be a great threat individually and virtually unbeatable as a group. Each member is named after the first 5 Cybertronian cities that fell during the war. Tarn, as the leader, uses his specialized voice modulator to paralyze his enemy, gradually inducing the shutdown of their sparks through a combination of words and music. In IDW's The Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye, the DJD is utterly devoted to upholding Megatron's doctrine, relentlessly pursuing and executing any Decepticon who poses a threat to their cause. Their brutal and gruesome methods serve as a warning to deter other potential defectors. Tarn, despite his seemingly charming demeanor, is driven by a fanatical loyalty to the Decepticon cause, even after Megatron's defection to the Autobots. Tarn's loyalty runs so deep that he attempts suicide when Megatron switches allegiances, but ultimately realizes that the cause itself transcends any individual. Lockdown, in essence, appears as a typical Decepticon, with his primary strengths rooted in his combat ability. He possesses a range of weaponry, including long and short barrel guns, capable of delivering substantial damage to his adversary. Notably, his robot mode allows him to conceal his face, providing an element of surprise when targeting his victim. As a seasoned bounty hunter, he has amassed extensive experience in tracking down and defeating his target. This particular skill set proved invaluable when he squared off against Optimus Prime in Transformers: Age of Extinction. In these encounters, Lockdown managed to outmaneuver and defeat Optimus Prime not once but twice. Such a feat places him in an elite category of adversaries who have bested the formidable Autobot leader in one-on-one combat. Lockdown's tactical acumen and combat proficiency allowed him to sabotage Optimus Prime, seizing the upper hand in their confrontation. It's worth noting that Lockdown's victory streak was only broken when Bumblebee intervened, distracting Lockdown and enabling Optimus Prime to launch a surprise attack that ultimately led to Lockdown's defeat. Shockwave, Cybertron's preeminent scientist, is unburdened by the constraints of ethics or morality. Shockwave's high standing in the Decepticon hierarchy is further bolstered by the unwavering support of Megatron. Yet, his loyalty remains questionable, as his unwavering single-mindedness makes him rather unreliable. Over countless eons, Shockwave meticulously scoured the cosmos, selecting various planets to sow with Energon, strategically tailored to exploit their unique attribute. His grand design was to amalgamate these diverse Energon sources, causing the collapse of reality into a singularity that would fuel Cybertron indefinitely. Armed with a calculated and unyielding logic, Shockwave possesses a resolute determination to succeed, which makes him a difficult adversary for any who dare oppose him. In Transformers: Dark of the Moon, he laid waste to the city of Chicago, toppling skyscrapers with apparent ease. However, his true claim to fame happened when he incapacitated Optimus Prime. Only a modified Optimus could ultimately prevail against Shockwave. This Transformer villain exhibits a callous disregard for collateral damage and casualties in his relentless pursuit of objectives. His versatile cannon mode emits devastating energy beam, capable of obliterating virtually any obstacle. Furthermore, he possesses the rare ability to take flight in his robot form, a distinction that sets him apart as one of the few Decepticons capable of such an aerial feat.
Optimus?
Soundwave, a master of Decepticon spycraft, served as both a frontline combatant and a covert operative. His unwavering loyalty to Megatron and his staunch support of the Decepticon cause, in addition to his remarkable abilities, make him one of the most important soldiers of Megatron. Soundwave has the ability to read minds by decoding electrical impulses within the brain. Operating as a one-bot army, Soundwave carries within his chest an array of additional troops, including Ravage, Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, Rumble, and Frenzy. This diverse cadre of minions makes him a multifaceted threat that poses a significant challenge to the Autobots. His skill set includes the capacity to detect and jam transmissions spanning the entire energy spectrum, which is why he is also the Decepticon Communications Officer. Furthermore, Soundwave has a photographic memory due to the data storage capacity of the magnetic disc within his chest compartment. He wields a shoulder-mounted laser cannon and a handheld concussion blaster to further enhance his combat prowess. Metro Titan. Metro Titan was one of the original Titans alongside Chayla and Metroplex. These ancient Titans supposedly aided Primus in the battle against his formidable adversary. Approximately 12 million years ago, Onyx Prime called upon these Titans to broker peace between warring factions. This temporarily ended the conflict between the Crystal City and the Darkland. However, there was a twist in the story as Onyx Prime's true identity is revealed to be the time-traveling Shockwave, who manipulated events to his advantage. He crafted intricate paradoxes in legend, including the Dark Cybertron prophecy and the concept of a chosen one who would unite Cybertron. As time passed, most Titans left Cybertron, leaving only Trypticon, Metroplex, and Metro Titan. Metro Titan slumbered beneath the Crystal City, guarded by Omega Supreme. Omega hid Metro Titan's existence from Nova Prime, who later departed to conquer other worlds. Metro Titan's awakening would only occur in the presence of another important Cybertronian, Die Atlas, who was entrusted with safeguarding him. During the Great War, Die Atlas formed the Circle of Light, using Metro Titan's power to depart from Cybertron. They settled on Theophany, where Crystal City was constructed atop the dormant Titan. Tyrese legislators eventually raised Crystal City, leaving Metro Titan hidden beneath. The crew of the Lost Light discovered him, and with the help of miniaturization technology, transported the Titan off-planet. Onyx Prime reprogrammed Metro Titan with the goal of perpetuating Cybertron's weakness and division. He convinced Metro Titan that Starscream was the chosen one, leading to Metro Titan's awakening. Starscream's presence triggered Metro Titan's belief, leading to a subsequent antimatter explosion that seemingly obliterated him, but actually transported him to Earth. Eventually, he turned against his creators and sought to destroy them by learning the ways of Valenguar.
You have no soul! That is why I have no faith.
Marvelous verdict. In any great narrative, the presence of powerful villains is essential, and Transformers does not disappoint in this regard. The concept of shape-shifting robots that transform into vehicles might seem far-fetched, but Transformers has consistently captivated fans of all ages. The franchise, spanning action figures, animated series, comics, and feature film, has woven a web that captures the hearts and imaginations of all, young and old. As Transformers continues to evolve and expand its lore, it's evident that the Decepticons remain a force to be reckoned with. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
You save the human instead of saving yourself. You bring shame upon us all.